Hi. I was just looking at my scrapbook of pictures of me when I was younger. Do you remember when you were younger? Was there something you really thought once you could do, you would be in having a wonderful life? It would make life so perfect. I always wanted to drive, and I remember my girlfriend Carrie and I used to sit in my father's airport car and pretend we were driving to the drive-in movie or to get an ice cream. And I just thought that would be really grown up when I could do that. I also wanted to be taller. I really got tired of not being able to reach anything, and worse, when I graduated from high school, being told, oh, you just graduated from sixth grade, so I thought being taller and driving would be the best things in life for me. Well, today's story is about a little raccoon whose name is Juniper, who's really tired of being short also. Feels that she's really being put upon because people are not making life easier for short people. And then she meets Clove, a little squirrel, and she learns many wonderful lessons from her. Let's listen to the story. Little Juniper Makes It Big by Aidan Cassie. Juniper the raccoon was too little. Way too little, she thought. Adults only build things in adult sizes. If kids made houses, they'd make them so they fit properly. Patience, Junebug. You're growing bigger every day. But 3 days later, she still wasn't any bigger. At bedtime, she couldn't concentrate on her book. For all my life, things have been too big for me. Movie seats, piano, shirts, doorknobs, car seats, counters, everything. Later that night, her little thoughts grew. By breakfast, her little thought had become a big idea. By lunchtime, a cunning plan. She assembled springboards and stilts. She built heighteners and hoppers, cranes and catapults, and even flew by balloon. But in spite of all of her efforts, June's plan fell short. By Monday, she felt smaller than ever. Things were better at school. At school, she didn't feel small. She felt average. Some of the kids were taller, some were smaller, and the new girl, Clove, was really tiny. Juniper liked hanging out with Clove. She was amazing. Being small didn't stop her at all. Holy salamanders, how did you do that? Juniper asked as she saw Clove fly through the air. Grippy sharp nails, a parachute tail, and extra stretchy armpits. Do you want to come for a sleepover? Said Clove. We could practice climbing. Oh, yes, said Juniper. Some unsmallness lessons were just what she needed. She counted the days until the weekend. On Friday, she packed her suction cup shoes, 13 feet of rope, and a helmet. She said goodbye to her mama and headed to Clove's house. But when she arrived, she found she didn't need to climb, or stretch, or anything. At Clove's house, Juniper was just the right size. This house is perfect, said Juniper. I can reach everything. Well, it's almost perfect. Hide and seek was unexpectedly quick, and swinging was surprisingly low, and dress-ups were awkward, as was jumping on the bed. By the time they were getting ready for bed, Juniper wasn't feeling small at all. Juniper, let's play at your house next time. I bet it's huge. I bet I could hide in your sock drawer. I bet your bathtub is as big as a swimming pool. Clove actually seemed to enjoy being small. The next day, she returned to her way too big house. Our home is very nearly almost perfect, she said. And while there were still plenty of things that Juniper still didn't like about being little, most things were pretty wonderful. The end. Juniper really learned a wonderful lesson, didn't she, from Clove, and now she looks at life quite differently. And well, at first I thought I don't have much in common with that early, very young Tracy who wanted to drive a car. I was totally wrong. I still want to keep driving a car now. I don't want to lose that ability to do that. And I don't want to get any shorter so I can't reach the top shelf of my cabinets. So we all have in common our early childhood self and today's version of ourselves. We're just at the other end. Well, in today's lessons from Philippians, Paul is writing to them that he is just torn because he wants so badly to be in heaven with Jesus. He feels that that's going to be the perfect life and all his toils and woes will be over and he will just be so happy to be with Jesus all the time. But he also knows he has to stay with this church who he started and who really need his guidance and help. So, and I think the Lord in his wisdom knew that Paul really needed to continue to grow also through his experiences with this church. And as little Juniper learns, there are many ways to look at your life. What are the problems with your life? What are the issues you have to conquer all the time? Or what are the wonderful things that we've been given? What do we have to work with? And there is nothing like meeting someone who is homeless or hungry to look at your life in a different perspective. And while we are here living this life that God has given us, He wants us to live it to the fullest and to put ourselves in the shoes of others and find new compassion and joy in our lives and love for one another. Amen. I hope to see you next week.